What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of East Meets West. That was tough to get out. I'm your host, Fanshaw Jake, here, of course, with my co-hosts, Matt Radicke and our commissioner, Joseph Bell. Gentlemen, how was week 4 for everybody?
I'm sad.
Yeah.
I'm just fucking sad.
Joe?
Yeah, I mean, Alex got a good win.
Yeah,
Put up some points,
All
but
right.
should have won. Patrick Mahomes did throw a pick, but yeah,
Would you have actually
I would've
won
won.
it by like point something?
He would have
That
won
would've been our
point,
first.
point like 03 or some nonsense.
Yeah, but we didn't get it. All right, we're going to dive right into our weekly recap of week 4. We're going to start with the Wissinoming Radskins going up against Globo Gym Purple Cobras. We're going to start, of course, with our injuries. CMC continues to be on the IR. Godwin missed the game with a hamstring. Lazard on the IR. And, of course, we all know coming out of the game, Nick Chubb. For Matt, first thing, the Nick Chubb injury. His wide receivers combined for less than 14 points. And you had Russ and Aaron Jones continue what they have been doing all season. For the Purple Cobras, Davis continues to fill in for CMC. Andrews had a big bounce back game. And number 10 for the Saints came to the rescue this week. Any thoughts on the game? Itself, and then we'll dive in.
No, the game itself, I mean, you had a lot of guys that I was not hoping scored, a combined 3 touchdowns in 3 minutes.
Yeah, you weren't even watching?
No, I wasn't watching. I ran to the store real quick. I came back. I'm down 100. Most of my team was okay, I guess. Like, Robert Woods disappointed, and Nick Chubb getting hurt sucked. But for the most part, the rest of my team, I wasn't super disappointed in.
Not that he did any good, but you kind of officially took yourself out of the game with the trade that we'll get into later.
Yeah. I felt like I was kind of screwed, so might as well.
So I'm going to ask Joe, coming out of this game, are the Radskins suddenly in trouble?
Yeah, they're big trouble. The division is kind of in their favor because you're 3-1, and someone that had to catch you would be 1-3.
Will we call trouble the division or missing a playoff spot? I guess maybe
right now with the division, I think big time. I mean, you're missing your number 1 pick, or was it either way? He's on the turn, yeah. So you're missing him for a little while. Aaron Jones is on bye this week. It could be another loss. We'll talk about that later. David Johnson sucks.
You just got made personal beef with David Johnson.
He's just not very good.
You just got made personal.
And then Russell Wilson's on bye. Actually, next week we play each other. He has Russell Wilson, Darren Waller, and Will Lutz all on bye. So another big bye week. So
I lose out in buys every week. I've looked at it already. Every week I'm in the shitter.
So, but that's where fantasy champs are made, right? Bye weeks and making moves.
So I'm started off 4-0.
Speaking of that, so we have the Cobras on the other side. Can they continue to navigate this without CMC? I would say for another at least probably 2 weeks, probably 3 at the most. So this week they have the last undefeated team right now, the Sanitation Department, followed by B Block's Finest, Shirts Off, Pants Down, and then again B Block's Finest. So you got 2 teams sitting at 1-3 right now, and 1 at 4-1. Realistically, over the next 4 games, what keeps them in the playoff spot? 1-3. You think you'll be able to
keep you in a playoff spot right now? I think you have a good chance of going 3-1.
3-1 there. Well, I got each week I have another player on bye. Like
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because it doesn't matter who the hell you play on your team for whatever reason. They're like, oh, I'm playing for Jake. I'm going to do really well this week.
That's just how it works. All right, so
fucking nice.
That was a big win. Oh, by the way, scored that game 113.6 to 87 in the game.
Not the low of the year so far.
Yeah, we were talking before the game on who should you start, Adrian Peterson or number 10 from the Saints. Turns out.
You helped me out.
Well, it turns out, you could have started nobody, and you still would have beat
yes.
Matt this week.
Yeah, Matt had that week that I was talking about. Yeah. I think on the last show that he needed to have a bad week for me to win. I put up, I guess this week would be somewhat average points, but was able to get the job done.
Yeah.
So moving on, we're going to go to B Block's Biggest Loser. C Block's Biggest Loser going up against B Block, Average Joe's. Injuries in this one, Michael Thomas is out again, Philip Lindsay out again, Lev Bell out. I believe he's coming back this week.
Yeah. They designated him to return from IR.
For C Block's Biggest Loser, you had Murray get a little less than 27 points, Parker with 10 receptions, which was a nice day, but he had 4 players score under 8 points, including Hines, which was, I believe, the big pickup so far this year at $60. For Tom, what can we say about that? Cooper combining for over 60 points. Kittle with the bounce back game. And then you had Fuller doing Will Fuller things every couple weeks, scoring slightly less than 20 points. Any thoughts on this game? We had a score of 154.88 to 95.12. I believe Tom was the runaway high this week. Any thoughts on these teams, this game?
Nah, I mean, you want to talk about a bounce back game. Kittle had 15 catches.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you had the Dak and Cooper connection.
Yeah,
which
and
has
that's
been big.
it's going to be annoying all year long.
Yeah,
That team sucks.
I know. Their
Their
defense,
defense
is
sucks. And then garbage time comes around, and Dak's like, "Oh, my best receiver's right there. He's open. I'm the 30 for 18 yards."
I mean, one thing that came to my mind was we talked about Tom's team being like one of the best teams in the beginning of the year. If he had Saquon on this team too instead of Mark Ingram, like he's probably looking at the number 1 title contender up there with Mike from our division.
All right, so that brings me to one of my questions for this guy. I'm going to cut off, but average Joe's, if you just got your phones out, if you open up his roster, does he have the best roster in the East right now?
Like healthy?
Healthy
Right
wise?
now, yeah, the best roster in the East right now.
maybe.
Like, yeah.
No.
Players, everyone
No.
playing. That's all. No?
I don't
Anyone
think
say
so.
that? No?
Heating up.
I mean, I don't think either one of his running backs are like jump off the page incredible.
He
But-
does.
Yeah, I know he certainly thinks they're both incredible. But I mean, it's nice. Like he's got a solid defense that he can play every week. Not that that's necessarily huge, but he has a couple of receivers that are starting to actually light up a little bit. And you know, Kittle being Kittle, he can score 30 points a week. And yeah, the Dak and
That's
it's
a
stupid.
shit ton.
It's
I
so
would
dumb.
say he could score like 15.
I would put
You know what I
the amount of
mean. You know
money
what I
on
mean.
Kittle
I'm
not
just
scoring
saying,
30 points a
not
week.
every week, but
I was going to say,
I'm
you take
just,
60
I'm-
down to 40 for Dak and Cooper, you still got 134, and you
Yeah.
take all fucking 15 for him, that brings you around 120. That's what I'm saying. Does he
The
have
thing
like,
with,
the
here's
best?
the thing that
I'm tired.
the thing with his team is like I don't think Dak Prescott's only a garbage time quarterback. Like he does for 500 yards. You don't do all that in the fourth quarter.
He did. He had like 274 yards in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, but that's not.
Still the rest. I mean, that's still a good
He's
game.
done it
Yeah.
3 times this year. Like, it's not all garbage time. They have a shitty defense. It's not garbage time when it's a shitty defense and they're doing it throughout the game. This just happened to be another fourth quarter comeback or try to come back.
Attempt.
Yeah, I think his RB2 is very. I mean, Mark Ingram is touchdown dependent, so
Yeah.
he got the touchdown this week. It's going to look nice, but I don't want to overreact on a 150-point game. It was a really good game by Tom. Don't get me wrong, but he's not going to put up 150 points every week.
That's why we sit down and do this.
Yeah.
Moving on to C
Was that
block.
real quick? Was that the biggest point differential victory? Like it has to be,
I
right?
think so.
Of
I
all
think-
time?
I think
Yeah,
No.
all time.
I don't know.
No. You scored
No.
40 points before.
yeah, that did happen.
I would have to look at that game, but I mean, even if they scored 90, I mean, that's right up there. With
Yeah,
the-
he's up
So this is almost 60.
60.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying that even if that person scored 90 that week, that puts them
50.
50. You figure if
Yeah.
they scored 110. Yeah.
110. Yeah.
But yeah,
So,
well,
that's something we
okay.
have to go look at.
Giving back to the what you just said about your division, that's huge though, right? Getting a leg up, like Tom. So he got
Right,
a
we're
legit
gonna-
shot at the playoffs.
Well, this was. Let me move on to Charlie real quick. So this kind of ties into that. So does Charlie, with Lev coming back, do we feel like Charlie needs to make a move still at the running back 2 position to? I think we asked this last week. Does he need to make a move at the RB2 position to have a chance?
This is actually the reason why I don't think Tom. I couldn't definitively say Tom has the best roster in the East because I literally was just looking at Charlie's across from him, and like Prescott and Murray. Prescott's having the better year right now, but Murray can still put up points. He runs for a lot of touchdowns.
He has a combo.
You have
Yeah, both.
Robinson versus Taylor. Honestly, Robinson's probably the best pickup of the year. I know we give him shit for Hines, but Robinson's been a stud. He's an easy RB1 right now.
Yeah.
I don't know what he is. He's RB6 on the year.
Absolutely.
And then Mark Ingram and Lev are going to now be like similar. They're going to be touchdown dependent. Lev's probably going to definitely going to get
And
way
touch
more
the ball.
work.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I'm comparing receivers then, right? Because Tom's big thing was his big receivers. Charlie has the DeAndre Hopkins, Michael Thomas, DJ Moore, and Devontae Parker. Like
He has options.
yeah, like I think that's.
Well, that's why I'm asking. Does he need to make that move for a running back too, since he has all of them? You know.
I think he's been trying. I think he gets
Yeah,
he gets
so
Philip Lindsay
he
coming back.
probably can make a move. You just need to find someone that's willing to trade.
Should trade Steve back.
I think-
if he did trade Steve back, his
Doesn't
team
look
would
fine.
be-
It becomes
his team
easier
would
for him
try
once
to-
Michael Thomas is actually healthy. He can actually trade somebody versus take a loss. Because right now he's trading Michael Thomas for less value than what he's really worth.
getting to your question, yes, that was huge. I mean, you figure Tom getting that win this week and moving him to 1-3. For me, again, going back to we talked about 4 East teams so far. For someone like me, that was huge. For Matt, I mean, we were calling Matt the runaway favorite in the division now. For Matt, that was huge. You need them teams at the bottom, who are at the bottom right now, to kind of beat up on each other. This way we can kind of hold our spots with our stars missing. But going on to the last game of the week for the East, we had B Block's finest going up against Shirts Off, Pants Down. Injuries in this, A.J. Brown was out. Julio played, ended up getting hurt. Does not look good so far this week. He didn't practice today. For Steve, you had Dalvin Cook continuing to do what he's doing so far this year to dominate. For Steve, 6 players under 10 points, which is never good. For Bry, you finally had that quarterback start that he needed. Fitzmagic with a little less than 22 points. Melvin Gordon with a big day at a little less than 25. And then you had a bounce back from Robinson and Metcalf. I'm sorry about that. Robinson and Metcalf, they combined for a little less than 30 points. Again, I believe that's 2 weeks in a row.
Over 30.
What?
A little over 30.
Oh, I'm sorry, a little over 30 points. And I believe that's 2 weeks in a row they did that. So that's another good showing. Any thoughts on this game? Brian with a 109.6 win over Steve with 89.84.
Yeah. I mean, I won't put it out there. Brian has started the wrong quarterback on his team 4 straight weeks.
This one didn't hurt him too bad.
No, it didn't hurt him too bad. I mean, Steve had a rough week too. He had to deal with the COVID nonsense that put 4 of his guys on his bench. He just couldn't play. 3 of his guys on his bench, 4 of his guys, doesn't matter. He had to bench a lot of guys this week, so he was severely hampered by it, and it couldn't have come at a worse time.
So for both these teams, sitting at 1-3, can we say that one of their seasons is over already? Looking at their roster.
I mean, we're 4 weeks in. I don't think
Right, but
anyone's over.
but 1-3. I mean, like I know we keep talking about the division, but at 1-3,
They're only 2 games back.
Yeah, it's still.
And you got to look at points and stuff too. Like Brian's, I think he's 30 or 40 points behind Charlie. That's it. You can make that up.
Yeah, I mean, just like you went 1-3, you can go 3-1.
Yeah,
and then you're right back in it.
Any other thoughts on this game between these two teams?
No, I
stand out?
I honestly never thought Brian's team was as bad as he was performing to. I think 2 weeks in a row I picked him to get his first win.
Lowest scoring team in the league.
I don't know. I don't think it's as Metcalf and Robinson are starting to heat up. Gordon is getting Philip Lindsay back. We'll see if he still gets that entire workload, but I don't know. I think Brian has a few more
back 10 right now.
a few more wins in him. But no, I mean neither one of these teams are pushing for the division. I don't think.
No, I think, but like we were talking about earlier, I keep saying maybe 6 wins get you into the playoffs now. I mean that puts you at what, 5 and you have to go the rest of the year 5. And,
Yeah, he goes 5-4.
5-4. Yeah, get you.
Either one of them might be looking at a playoff spot.
All right, let's move on. We're gonna go to the West. Jose's Hooligans going up against the Polska Mafia. A few injuries in this one. Leonard Fournette was out. Cam Akers was out. Goddard out. Sonny Michel on the IR and Campbell on the IR. And Font got injured during the game. I haven't heard anything on him.
He's out this week.
Oh, he's out this week. All right, so there you go. A little bit of news. For Jose Beckham, the big day, a little less than 36 points. I believe his best game, definitely of the year, I would say, right?
Oh, yeah.
If not his Browns career. Jose hitting on the QB carousel again. Another big week from his quarterback. And 0 points from his wide receiver, too, Calvin Ridley. And still put up a little less than 120 points, which is very impressive. For Tommy, you had Lamb on the bench with a little less than 22. And Ertz and Ryan kind of hold back Tommy this week with low performances. A winnable game. He ended up losing 119.74 to 108. So you get a little bit better game from Ertz, maybe a little bit better game from Matt Ryan. He has the potential to win that game. Any thoughts on this one?
Yeah, if the Cowboys could tackle, Jose probably would have lost that week. I'm serious. Odell ran backwards for 10 yards and he gained 12 on that play. Or 12 points on that play. He would have straight up lost. But, I mean, it's unfortunately like Calvin really did nothing. Was he hurt? Like I didn't get much
He
of
played.
it,
Yeah,
actually.
so he was in
played.
From what I
Played,
see,
yeah.
he was in
There's
the
talks that he might have been a decoy.
Yeah.
I mean,
We could pull up the
makes
numbers
sense.
on what he played exactly on the field.
I
but-
mean, yeah, Matt Ryan is incredibly unreliable.
All right, well, that brings me to one of my questions. After back-to-back below-average games, it's time for the Mafia to jump on the quarterback
He
carousel.
didn't have a below average game though. He had 100 and. Oh, you're saying out of Matt Ryan?
Yeah,
So,
I'm talking about
yeah,
the
yeah.
quarterback carousel.
Quarterback
It's the time
carousel.
to start wavering the quarterback.
I mean, it's
It's
not
hard to
bad.
depend on the
It
quarterback for
depends
the
upon
entire
what
year.
they're playing. He's still the quarterback 10 right now, but it's you got to look at their schedule going forward.
And you got to look, like you said, his last 2 games. I think he scored under 13 points for the games.
Yeah,
You're not going to win many games with your quarterback.
No.
Not the way they're scoring now. You know what I mean? I think that Josh Allen,
he does not have a
Russell.
rough. He doesn't have a rough schedule coming up though, either.
Well, I mean, not to jump in here, but Julio being hurt definitely impacts him, right? I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah, of course.
it's one of, if not the best wide
Well,
receiver
yeah, I
in
mean,
the league.
he had 3 banged up receivers coming into this week, and
So-
he left the week with 3 banged up receivers. Still.
Calvin Ridley played 69% of the snaps, 28 routes, and had 5 targets. He just didn't catch any of them.
so yeah, I mean, he was the
Yeah,
balls,
he was-
a couple balls coming his way, but
Yeah, he was involved. I mean, comparison to the other weeks he ran 38 routes and 34 in weeks 2 and 3. He ran 28, so 10 or so less routes. Which is,
Managing him.
yeah, he definitely wasn't there to play 90-something% snaps like he was, but still hope to get something out of Calvin Ridley on 70% of the snaps.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He scored almost 120 points with
Yeah.
getting 0 from him. That tells you the rest of his roster.
I think Tommy has some. I don't know if you're going to get to this or not, but
No.
I think Tommy has some interesting things to look at on his roster. I know we all kind of gave him crap for Singletary and Diggs, starting them both. They've both been producing like crazy. And then we were like, oh, Ertz is an early pick. I mean, he might be looking at, is Ertz just a tight end you can like throw on the waiver wire and stream tight end now?
Well, that's what I brought up. I mean, if you get 8 more points out of Matt Ryan, 7 more points out of Matt Ryan, and another 5 out of Zach Ertz, that gets you to win. And what did Ertz end up with?
4.9. Yeah,
Four-
four
so you
catches
just-
for 9
so you
yards.
get 5 more points out of him. Still puts him less than 10. That's kind of a pedestrian day for Zach Ertz. The normal Zach Ertz.
Math works.
I'm sorry, whatever it would be. But what I'm saying is,
That would give him less than 10.
I'm saying that will give the 12 points wouldn't be hard to come by if Matt Ryan had a little bit better of a game.
No, you're right. That Ertz stat's not right though.
He didn't have that.
No, he had 4 catches for 9 yards, but he got 4.9 points. We only have half point per reception. He
Did
didn't have
he?
a rush.
He called a 2-point
Unless-
conversion.
Ah, okay, that's what it was. It's not listed.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, I don't think Ertz is a guy you can just drop. It just sucks that the Eagles literally had nobody else to catch the ball. Like you had
And he's
no idea
still
who they
not.
were, so they're like, we're just gonna put 2 guys in
Yeah,
there. So he couldn't do anything.
Yeah, and he's still.
So what about his what would you think of, not to get on Tommy's team only, but he's still rostering Dallas Goedert, right, in his IR?
Yes. Not in his
So-
IR anymore, but yes.
Is it not in his IR?
No, he's Paris Campbell there.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I looked at it
Looking at
earlier.
it right now.
Really?
Well, maybe not right now, but during that game, he did.
No,
not.
he has Dallas Goedert in his IR.
Now he does.
So now he might. But
Yeah.
Yeah, when I
during that
looked
game,
at
he
it,
had Paris
Campbell-
Campbell.
Well, right. I'm saying we already waivers already went through.
I'm
was
not.
gonna say,
Yeah, I
is
can
that-
only look at one screen at a time.
Is that something that we're on the same app? Is that something that you like? Are you holding on to both of them still? Like, does he have to hold on to Goddard because of Ertz, or is it worth?
Yeah, because I think
I
when
mean-
Goddard comes back, you're not going to be able to know which one.
Yeah,
You
you're
can't
gonna have
play-
to.
you
He's
can't
gonna
play
have
Ertz
to.
for
He's gonna
him.
have to wait and see. He's just gonna have to sit around, wait and see, and see if we get a couple of receivers healthy, what both of their workloads look like, and then make a smart decision.
Yeah, I don't know. Me personally, I'm just thinking more of like I would probably have cut Goddard through Michelle if I really want to hang on to an RB2 in my IR, and you can pick someone else up. He might have been able to get one of these running backs to try to fix his problem of he said he needed a running back.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Let's go ahead.
Well, speaking of running backs, do you want to discuss the Eckler injury on Brock's matchup or how it impacts Jose's team? Because he has Kelly.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Jose gets a big bump for a team that's been
Well,
playing.
all right. So that brings me into my question about Jose. All right. So with at 3-1 and a 30-point lead over everybody in points, does Jose have the best roster right now in the league with his backups? like we just spoke about,
No.
the upgrade that he got with.
No. I say no.
No?
I
I mean, the guy scores. Like, you know what I mean?
he
just
might.
He has a lot of
consistently-
high upside
he
players.
Yeah, he just consistently.
I don't. So you guys might be looking at Josh Kelly, or what's his dude's name? Josh Kelly,
Josh
in higher light than I am. I don't think he's.
No, I'm just asking. Like I said, the guy, through 4 games, it's a good sample size. He leads the league with over 30 points at 3-1. You know what I mean? He's winning. Can we say that he has? And
I don't think
we
his
know what he
bench is
does.
that
He
great.
he usually rosters a couple.
Yeah, his bench becomes
Some-
highly
sometimes
irrelevant
gems.
though if no one gets hurt.
But it's a good year, if any.
Yeah.
To,
But I still think Mike has the best roster in the league. I think Mike has people he can plug in, even like DJ Chark, or Justin Jackson, Johnson, Dearness, whatever his first name is, and McKinnon are all on Mike's bench right now.
yeah, they could all
You can literally plug
they could
any
all
of
be
them
my,
in this
they
week
could
as
all
a
be my
starter.
starting running back
Yeah,
this week.
yeah. They could all be Jose's starting running back right now over Josh Kelly if he wanted to. It'd be a decision, in my opinion. I don't think that the Chargers are going to jump or launch Josh Kelly directly in, and he's going to be the Austin Eckler back. I think they'll run Justin Jackson as well. He fumbled twice in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Neither one of them ran well last week, so it's not like Justin Jackson came in, had 4 carries for like 5 yards, and Josh Kelly blew the roof off. I think what Josh Kelly had last week, he had like 6 carries or 9 carries,
He
7
finished
yards.
with 2.9.
Yeah. Neither one of them did well, so it's still up in the air. Mike might have got a steal with another running back for Justin Jackson. Maybe not a steal, $26, but still a good value for. Who
Yeah.
knows? Maybe he takes the Eckler role,
Yeah.
and then
And
he's
we
the
all,
valuable.
we talk about it every week. We all know how valuable every running back is right now.
Yeah.
Don't really matter,
Kelly's right.
You catch anybody on a fringe RB2 right now, they're valuable to a majority of the league.
Yep.
Moving on, we're going to move on to Alexander's Greats going up against both sides of the bun. We'll start with injuries. Mostert was out. Devontae Adams was a late scratch. Derrick Henry with the COVID problems, which we'll get into a little
He
bit.
wasn't on my roster.
What?
He wasn't on my
He
roster.
wasn't on the roster.
I'm
for
sorry.
it.
Well, I'm sorry. All right, so we'll talk about that, I guess, later. Moss out, and then Alshon supposedly coming back this week. Was out for last week. So Alex with the big game for Mixon, a little less than 40 points. Gage with the 3 points, but ultimately helped him seal the win this week. And then for both sides of the bun, Hunt becoming an RB1. He had a big day, a little less than 20 points, and not so much for Kenyon Drake, who was a part of the other part of the trade, not having a good day. But he did get what it looks like an RB1 for the foreseeable future. We'll start with you. Thoughts on the game?
Yeah, I can't be disappointed in my team this week. Last couple of weeks I've been pretty disappointed. This week I put up points. I would have outscored, I think, 5 other teams, and so I was, I think, upper the 50.
Yeah.
You want to be over 50% of the league, so
Yeah.
I was. Alex has had a really good game. He should have lost. Patrick Mahomes did throw an interception. The referees called him down by contact because he's Patrick Mahomes.
He's not bitter.
They want him to get hurt.
I'm just saying, it's you call a fair game, he probably loses. But the other, I actually think besides Kenyon Drake sucking, the Chargers defense had a pick 6 and scored 0 points. Figure if they don't let Tom Brady's old ass go off for 5 touchdowns,
You're fine.
but it's all. Again, I'm happy with my team. I think my team actually improved this week despite losing. So, just I play Brock this week coming up. I can jump him by hopefully getting a win there in good fashion. So.
Well, with the moves at running back, is both sides of the bun better off moving forward?
Yeah, I'd say yes.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think no doubt. Kenyon gets too much volume for him to not be.
Productive.
And if he gets to the point where he's just not productive at all, I have Chase Edmonds where they'll probably flop them.
Yeah.
The worst case scenario for me would be if they actually just go 50-50 split and then it's like a
You
guessing
don't know
game.
what to do. Yeah.
Right, but I have 3 running backs now that I can literally plug in every week and not worry about anything, and then I do have Justin Jefferson waiting in the wings and Alshon for when they get healthy.
Yeah.
Or when Alshon gets healthy, the plug-in receiver on bye weeks. So
So you've been sitting at 1 and 3. You like the
yeah, I feel fine.
the
I think
outlook for it?
it's been different. Last couple of years, I started off pretty hot, 4-1, 3-1 type deal. It's 1 and 3, but like I said, you can go 3 and 1, and next thing you know, I'm 500, and probably towards the top of the division the way things are playing out. So
Now that they're on the board, are we expecting anything out of Alexander's Greats going forward, or are we still seeing this team as a bottom feeder?
no, I would sell high on Mixon
Yeah.
if I were him, but that's who knows.
Yeah, he needs. I mean, yeah, he's going to need a more consistent RB2.
Well, he's got Mostert coming back, right?
He does have Mostert
He
coming
does
back.
have Mostert coming back.
And
But
Adams,
I was gonna
Adams
say, I
is
know he's
also
gonna
coming
be,
back. So, is Alex? Does he have legitimate, playoff contention?
But you gotta think,
aspirations.
even with
He
Mostert
can,
coming
it's
back,
just, he's got a
McKinnon still gets. I mean, he's played
Rough
pretty
road.
well,
Yeah,
so
still.
he's going to cut into that a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing too. Like Ronald Jones is fine now, but when Fournette's back, he's got to deal with that too.
All right, we're going
I have to deal with the rookie too. Keyshawn Vaughn put a touchdown at the end.
Exactly.
So, what's Alex's outlook then?
I don't think Alex gets in, but
not even just getting in. I mean, are we like expecting any? Do we going forward? Are we just expecting him to be the bottom feeder the rest of the year?
I don't think he's gonna be a bottom feeder. I don't think he's gonna score like nothing if that's what you're getting at, or he's gonna lose every week. Like he'll still hang around, but he'll win
Someone's
some
got to be in
games,
last
but-
place. Is it going to be this team? Is what I'm asking you. Your prediction right now.
No, it's gonna be Tommy. Tommy will fall off. He's Tommy.
All right, moving forward. We're going to go on to Slannick Sanitation going up against the Brock football team. I believe that's what he's called, right? I get this
Yup.
wrong every week.
You get it right every week.
Injuries. Thielen ended up playing. McLaren ended up playing. Chenault ended up playing. Cook did not play. And then, of course, we know the big news for Brock Eckler going down for, I believe it's 6 weeks, right? Is that what
to be
they're-
determined. They didn't put him on IR yet.
No, they didn't. I think it's
So-
similar to Chubb though, like in length.
He has a grade 2 hamstring strain, so it's dependent on a lot of things. But yeah, you're probably looking at least 4 weeks. I would imagine.
Yeah, absolutely. And then when he comes back, again, I mean, what do we have? 3 running backs there now? Two
Well,
running
yeah,
backs
they-
sitting, and then
Yeah, they always have. I mean, they like.
I just mean the guy gets showcased, which means
Right.
he might even cut. Even when he comes back, that third guy's going to
Sure.
cut in a little bit to any production.
Sure, yeah, and you're not going to throw Eckler back in. I would think not to after a hamstring. Those things linger.
And you got to
throw
see
him
where
in.
they're at.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see where they're at record-wise.
I do think this helps Tom, if you ask me. I think the Chargers aren't a very good team. And I think with the rookie really likes targeting. He was showing Eckler and Allen were his big guys, and Eckler's now out of the mix. So I think Keenan Allen's going to see a lot of balls
Yeah,
coming
the
his way.
uptick goes up there.
Yeah.
All right, for the game,
He's available.
for the sanitation department, wide receivers combined for a little less than 40 points. The Rams, I believe this is 2 weeks in a row they started them, 12 points. That was a nice pickup. And then Josh Allen playing at a CBFFL early MVP candidate level right now. For Brock, Rodgers continues to shine, a little less than 30 points. Gibson a little less than 21 points, which is a good sign for him on the running back front. But his other running backs combined for less than 11 points. So not a good showing for Brock this week. Mike had the 128-62 to 103-26 win. Any thoughts on this game, on these teams?
I'm curious with both Gibson and McLaurin because there's a new quarterback for Washington. I mean, Kyle Allen had plenty of practice throwing the ball to the running back, so
Check
I think
down Charlie,
Gibson
man.
could 100% benefit from it.
Or
And-
their other running back of benefit. We'll get more than that later.
No
Alright.
shot.
Yeah, Gibson could
Someone's got to catch one.
Gibson could benefit from it, and I don't know how he's going to be with Terry McLaurin. I don't really know a lot about Kyle Allen.
He sucks.
Yeah,
He's not
I was gonna say I do know that he's not very good.
His average depth
But-
of target on Carolina was like 6 yards.
Yeah, so I feel
It's
bad
pretty
for
bad.
Terry McLaurin because it might mess him up a little bit. But
Well,
you know,
shifting away from his running backs a little bit, Brock sitting at 2-2. Is Juju enough to carry the wide receiver core, or do you think he's another team that should be looking to make a move for maybe a wide receiver?
I don't like his receivers.
Another one that I'm kind of questioning, Sutton still being on his IR. He's out for a year. I mean, can't keep him till next year.
Maybe if
Yeah.
maybe we catch Brock watching the show, you catch a little
Yeah.
fantasy insight.
Hey,
for
he
you
subscribed.
This is how we'll see.
Hey,
Mikey B.
Determine our viewers.
So I guess we can agree that the best interest of that team would probably be making a move at the wide receiver spot.
I think he might
First
need one.
dropping Courtland
He
Sutton.
might need one, but it's the same thing. Like he might have to like move Eckler and try to.
Well, you figure people will start calling. I mean, I'm sure if he
Yeah,
hasn't
yeah.
already, people are already calling and offering for Eckler. You don't think so?
So what'd you send
Get
him,
him on the
Jake?
cheap. I'm on tape. Brock would know. No, I did not offer him anything for Austin Eckler.
I don't. I mean, I wouldn't touch
It's a
Eckler.
stash. It's like one of them ones where you can get them not a throw in, but you move somebody and be like, all right, well I got to get Eckler on the back end of that, and he could be in a position where I got to worry about these 6 weeks, not when 6 weeks from now when he
I
gets
don't
back.
know. 6 weeks for a hamstring, 6 weeks is going to put us at week 10. There's 3 weeks left in the season.
Yeah, but what if he's out of it? 6 weeks.
Or if it's like 4 or something, he cuts it short. And they're
I'm saying, what if he's
13
out of it?
too.
What if- yeah.
No, it's not week 13. I'm sorry, I'm thinking
I'm
about
good. I mean, even if
You're good.
the only person that I think could do it would be one of you three. You're all three, or maybe Jose, but Jose would have to get rid of like a Beckham Hill, something like that.
I mean, Brian and Charlie both have receivers.
So you said Mike's in a prime position to sit
Yeah, but
on
what are they
somebody
going to
else
do?
in that
How's
point.
that going to benefit them?
Just hold out and wait.
There's-
I guess.
Yeah,
They'll be in the same position Brock's in.
right. They're losing a receiver to
Yeah,
have
but
a
Charlie's
running back
got.
sit on their bench.
It's the same thing. It's like Charlie's got 4 big receivers. He might be able to move one and then just throw him in the IR, and then
He's a team that could potentially
Don't.
do that. Yeah.
Lev out of his team one time.
Charlie's probably the best trade partner.
I
Yeah,
feel
Charlie
like,
might be
but
the
I
best
feel
trade
like it's
partner.
just that's his, and then bye week comes and now he doesn't have another receiver to plug in. Like,
What's the risk reward, Joe?
there's no reward to it.
Could
You're
be.
getting Austin Eckler.
With
In
a
6
with a
weeks.
grade 2 hamstring strain, he's not going to play. He might not play the rest of the year. It's still to be determined.
Valid
Like,
point.
you never
It
know.
depends. We don't have timetable for it.
Well, as far as the
If I'm Brock, I would just dump a lot of fab on Justin Jackson. That kind of
solid
covers
crowd.
that. Yeah, you don't have to worry about it.
As far as the sanitation department, the 4-0, the only undefeated team left. Can we kind of pencil them into a playoff spot yet? Yeah.
I mean, again, week 4, anything can happen. He can go 0-4, become 4-4.
Right, but we do this on a weekly basis, so it's
Yeah,
always,
why not? Yeah, do
It's
it.
always a look ahead.
I
Why
agree. I would
not?
say Mike is going to make the
I would say
playoffs.
Mike's going to make the
4-0.
playoffs.
I think 4-0 right now. Yeah. I would
Is it
say.
a lock? No, but I mean,
He has the best percentage chance.
I would
of
say
anybody else.
there's a good chance Mike makes the playoffs. Yeah.
Well, that wraps it up for our weekly preview. We're going to move on to our next segment, which of course is the Commissioner's Power Rankings. Commissioner.
All right, yeah, we'll run through them. So, coming in at number 12, we have a new bottom here. It's going to be Steve.
Ooh.
Not a big fan of the roster. Also, just not putting up many points. I know he has more points scored than 3 other teams, including myself. But I just don't see it. I'm looking more of like a down the line future type thing here. I don't see his team doing many things this year. Number 11, despite beating me, fuck you, Alex. I have Alex. If I didn't make the deal with Mike, and I feel like I made my team a little bit better, and if Chubb didn't go down, maybe I would have us like flop. But yeah, Alex for now. Number 10 was between me or Brian, just being fair to everyone else with the record. But I put Brian because you got Lindsey coming back. Who knows what's going to happen with Gordon, but then also Julio is not looking great right now. So looking like maybe one of the biggest first round busts, even when he's on the field. He wasn't having like the best of performance, I guess. Julio performance. Number 9, I have myself for at least another week until I beat Brock. Number 8, I have Tommy. Kills me every week. I put him above me. Number 7, I have Tom coming off a big win and a nice outputs for points. Number 6, I have the person that Tom beat in Charlie because I still think his roster, as of right now, deserves. He's putting up. He's having a good season so far. So
Don't fuck with Chuck.
Tom definitely narrowed the gap though. So him and Charlie could very easily switch next week. Number 5, I have Brock, despite losing to Mike, still put up a good amount of points, and the reason he dropped all the way to 5 was due to the Eckler injury. He put up 125 points every week. Now it's officially over 105 every week, but Eckler he's looking at a rough spot this week. So number 4, I have Jake McCaffrey. What?
This is hell. I like the roster I fucking put out there.
Yeah, you're 3-1. You're putting up some points, and I'm again looking down the road like McCaffrey's going to be back sooner rather than later. So Matt at number 3 from number 1.
See the big drop of the week? I know it's only 2 spots. Is there any other big drop?
Steve dropped the furthest from 8 to 12.
Steve went, okay.
Matt down to 3. Like again, he lost, but that's not the only thing taken into consideration. Chubb being hurt, it's kind of tough.
Look
And
at this
then
sadness.
Jose at 2. He's just firing on all cylinders
Yep.
now. After that week 1 loss, he's just putting up points. And I think was it week 1 or week 2 loss? Week 1 loss. He's 3. Yeah. So we went the opposite direction. And then no, I mean, nothing hidden here. Mike at number 1. He's 4-0. He's putting up points.
So he's taken over. He took over the number 1 spot.
Mike,
That's his first week in number 1.
Yep. Yeah.
All right.
Has anyone stayed at number 1 for multiple weeks?
Yeah, Matt.
Matt was 2 and 3.
Matt was 1 for since
I
we
feel like
started.
I don't want this
started,
spot.
right?
It's cursed. You
Yeah,
don't
was it?
fucking
Was
lose
it?
the J.
You were
Draft.
oh yeah, Jake was
draft?
1 after draft.
Yeah, it was
Matt
draft.
was 1 for weeks 2 and 3, and then you just took it over week 4.
I don't want it.
Well, you got it. So
Sucks.
you
I
can
was-
lose.
You got a week, so. All right, that wraps up our commissioners' power rankings. We're gonna take our break here. All right, welcome back, everybody. We're gonna jump into the CBFFL League news. We're gonna start with the 2 trades that we had. We had Russell Gage going from the Wissinoming Radskins for Deontay Johnson to Alexander's Greats, and then we had the big trade, Derrick Henry and DJ Shark going from both sides of the bun for Kenyon Drake and Kareem Hunt to the Atlantic Sanitation. Fab, excuse me, which we had this morning. Justin Jackson and Dearness Johnson both going for $26. They were awarded to the sanitation department. Rex Burkhead for $8 going to Average Joe's. The Chiefs defense, another $5. We've had some weird money put down on defenses this year. A lot more than I thought. But $5 for the Chiefs defense. I don't remember who they went to. I think it was Tommy or Alex.
I think it was.
Is that the new league normal? Like we're just gonna
$5
we're gonna
for defenses?
overspend on defense?
I
Oh,
think
it went. You know what it was?
I
You know what
think
makes
so,
it even
too.
worse? It was Alex, and I only know this because I woke up and I put $1 down on the Chiefs defense.
Same,
Full disclosure,
yeah.
And I woke up to see if I got them. It was like the only roster move I tried making this week, except I put some money down on Justin Jackson, but knew I wasn't going to get him. And I saw that Alex got him, but Alex dropped them to pick up the dude Bird from New England to start him in his receiver spot. Didn't start him because he made a trade with Matt for Russell Gage, and then put $5 down to pick them back up.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, that's why I remember looking.
Flawless
at it, like,
strategy, Alex.
I
It was
didn't
like
even-
8 a.m. in the morning. I was like, huh?
I didn't even dive into all that, but when I saw the $5, I was like, damn, I didn't get
Stop
that.
there.
Yeah, I was like, Jesus Christ, I put $1 on.
That's
Yeah, it was-
20% of your budget.
Um,
It was interesting.
My pickup of the week, which I really liked, I ended up getting Higgins for $2. I did not. I put the bid in. I wasn't expecting to actually get him, and I do need a receiver this week, so that was nice. And then 2 quarterbacks for $5: Teddy Bridgewater and Gardner Minshew. Any thoughts on the trades? I mean, I'm sure you have some thoughts on the trades, but any thoughts on? We'll start with Fab. Any thoughts on Fab? Is that what we expected?
I thought Rex Burkhead for 8 was a little high.
Obviously, the Chiefs defense. We spoke
Chiefs
about.
defense. It wasn't. I don't think that was high. Like Chiefs defense they have a really good schedule, but I just think it's weird. Like if you know that, I thought he knew that when he picked him up in the first place, so he was playing the waiting game. He could have. I don't know who else is on his roster, but I'm sure there was someone else there he could have potentially dropped, or just played it safe in the first place and waited. Devontae Adams, knowing he's doubtful. Like Jonnu Smith, I would have dropped Jonnu Smith then over
Yeah.
if you're going to start Hunter Henry.
They got a good matchup this week. I mean, I don't know if he's going to start or not, but I know he has a.
Yeah, they're probably not even going to play.
Yeah, thinking about it.
Yeah. It's like I probably would have dropped them.
Thinking about it now.
But
Like that.
yeah, other than that, big.
The 2 running backs. Money expected. Is that what we expected the money was going to be? Do you think it was going to be a little lower, any higher?
Yeah, I think they're worth less, but I think what Mike did was he just
Smart.
he knew what you had left
Yeah.
and he put enough to where you couldn't stop.
Either
You knew
one
you
of them.
needed one.
Yeah, I agree with that completely. I think that the
I did a
values
$7
were,
bid, by the way.
yeah, I think the values were probably $10 over a piece what they should have went for, but I love the fuck you aspect of it.
Absolutely.
I thought that was perfect.
Uh-huh.
Made me live.
Yeah. Waste of money. on me, but-
$48 well spent.
Receiver, I
52.
think you
52.
52.
Whoops. No, I meant the difference. between-
receiver, I think you got to steal.
So did I.
T.
yeah.
Higgins for
Yeah.
$2.
I wasn't like I said. I
Yeah.
wasn't expecting it for $2, and I need a receiver this week.
Yeah.
I really needed a receiver for this week because if Michael Thomas comes back, number 10 on the Saints becomes irrelevant. Moving on to actually we had all 0-3 teams won this week. I believe it was Shirts Off, Pants Down, Alexander's Greats, and Average Joe's. So they all got their first wins this week. Congratulations getting on the board. We had 2 teams going in undefeated. 1 fell from the ranks, so we are down to 1 team left for the perfect regular season. COVID. We had the Steelers and Titans game. Obviously, get postponed last week to COVID. I'm not too up on what's going on this week. Or either one of you like?
Yeah, I got you. For COVID wise.
Yes.
Matt, I don't know if you know anything about the Buffalo Tennessee game, but turns
It looks like I did hear that might be in doubt.
yeah, that one's definitely on the fence. Turns out Tennessee, since they couldn't play football last week, they started playing in the park. Just
I know it was
getting,
high school.
we got a rough touch team coming up. They're probably thought maybe we were playing them for a second. That's why I texted you this morning
That
asking
was our
if we were
turkey bowl
playing.
game.
Yeah, I was like, shit, maybe we don't want to play them. Not because they're good or anything, just because we don't want to get COVID. But
Exactly.
no, and then Buffalo, of course, maybe they're gonna get a forfeit win from Tennessee.
That would
and
be
then-
interesting.
Yeah.
That would have major fantasy impact
I have a question.
around the league.
Does my defense get 10 points if they get a free win?
No, it's 0.
Damn it.
No game played.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's considered a win, and they let up 0 points
It's
and
a
0
DMV.
yards.
Hey-
Gilmore.
Hey guys, not to interrupt, but if you had players on either of those teams, what would you do? Asking for a friend.
I would immediately.
I would
sit
trade
them.
them immediately for 2 running backs.
Well, good news for you, right? You
Just roster a
you
bunch
just
of
picked
running
up
backs.
2 more running backs, so you're fine.
Hey, just spent a bunch of money on it.
I
Well
would try
spent.
to move Derrick Henry for someone like a Kareem Hunt or Kenyon Drake.
Maybe both.
Maybe both. Never know. Still lose the week.
Hey Tom, Derrick Henry's available.
All right, America. You speak when spoken to. All right?
Oh!
That's enough out here. Stephen Gilmore on the Patriots apparently has COVID. And
So America did show me a nice picture earlier. I didn't even see this report until he showed me, but Stephon Gilmore after the game went directly up to Patrick Mahomes and had like a 5-minute conversation with him, helmets off and
spit
everything.
in his face and shit.
Yeah, so I'm thinking it's one of those Bill Belichick like, hey, we'll lose in the regular season, but you ain't having Patrick Mahomes for a while type deal. We'll see. That would be really interesting though if Patrick Mahomes ended up catching it. I mean, I hope he doesn't, but
that's a hell of a
that
move.
would be
That really is.
insane.
Yeah.
And there have to like Stephon Gilmore, they have to like fine him or something, right? Like,
Yeah. Or
Best
like,
coach ever.
arrest
If
him.
If that's like comes out true, that best
Well,
coach ever.
what if he didn't know?
Right.
What if he did?
Right.
I mean, that's just like criminal, ain't it?
Well, they've never been able to prove that he knew.
Yeah.
But
Belichick.
behind closed doors, he's out.
Belichick never ceases to amaze me.
Nah, he's the man. He's funny.
So who do they have this week? The Patriots.
Denver, I think.
Denver. Yeah.
All right, so we got that game. I would say I don't know if it's in jeopardy as much as this, the Titans game, and then someone on the Raiders. I heard also had COVID. I don't know if you've heard anything about that.
No.
Better not be Darren Waller.
No.
No, someone on Las Vegas did test positive.
Yeah.
I heard they didn't
Was
say
it
the
a
name.
player or was a staff member?
No,
They didn't say anything.
I don't
heard
think
it was
they
the Raiders
specified.
organization.
Here's the thing. I think I said it last week. Now, like because of the Tennessee Titans, like before, if it like we had people testing positive all year
Yeah.
because we never had like an outbreak like the Titans. So now, literally, when anyone tests positive, all
Everyone
the media is
panics.
just like, oh my god,
Tomorrow's
yeah.
situation again.
Right.
Early on in baseball, everyone's gonna panic.
But like the big thing is like when you start seeing it spread throughout the like Cam, the Stephon Gilmore. Now I know they're doing virtual for the next 2 days in New England, but you start seeing the rest of the defense getting it. That's when you're like, all right.
That's hard to prep for a game. You're not gonna do practice and
I
all
know.
that type of shit.
Yeah.
Walkthroughs,
So
all
that's what I'm
that.
saying. Tennessee, I mean, they had time off, but they didn't really have too much on-field time, and they're still not back,
Yeah.
right?
No,
No.
their facilities
Yeah,
are closed.
they were getting ready to
tomorrow.
come back.
And tomorrow,
Yeah.
I think like Friday.
Yeah, their
They're
game's
gonna
gonna
have
get
to-
canceled.
Dude, yeah, they're gonna have to forfeit them games. I mean, if not this one,
Well,
you know,
there was
they
a
might
report
reschedule the
that
next
literally
one.
just came out today saying that the discipline it's being talked about is the harshest discipline the NFL's ever given.
Forfeit. You got to forfeit.
Yeah.
They're literally gonna forfeit
Yeah.
a National Football League game.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
kind
yeah,
of
they
fucking
would-
crazy
yeah.
for breaking protocol and shit. That's crazy.
Probably still,
And-
and think they'll still draft picks from them too.
Maybe I don't know what would be worse. Like you,
Nah, I don't. Nah, I think, dude, you're literally losing a game.
yeah, find the money. You find them. I mean,
Money, yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
not
you
to-
find
I mean, you're
every-
obviously gonna get
every
money.
player,
Yeah, it'll probably be like $1
probably.
million, $500,000 million.
Yeah,
That's-
Mike
Either
Florio
way, it would.
did report that it was going to be an unprecedented punishment. So I
Yeah.
mean, it could be a
Money
forfeit,
and a forfeit.
plus. Yeah.
Well, money either way. If it's draft picks,
send
or
them to the
whatever.
XFL.
They ain't around till 2022, right?
But we did get questions on this last week, and I think I know me talking about it. I said, you know, I wouldn't really worry about it until it started impacting moving games, and not a day later it started impacting moving
Yeah.
games. So it's becoming a real thing. You're gonna have to manage it throughout the rest of the season, and it's just gonna be it is what it is going forward. I mean, we're gonna have to navigate through it. It's gonna kind of screw everything up for a lot of people.
It
But,
sucks.
it's gonna be a week to week thing, and it's gonna be crazy. That's why I said this championship is probably gonna be more than any other one.
I know
at
we
least
talk
so
about,
far.
like we talk about luck, and like this one, you have to get some kind of luck this
Luck,
year.
and
Like,
then dude, like I said, it's like navigating. You gotta have. I mean, you
Yeah.
really gotta do your homework. Like if I can hit on, for example, if I can hit on T Higgins this week, if he scores a touchdown and catches X amount of yards or whatever, and he helps me win a game, I'm just using me as an example. That's just a way of navigating it this year. You know what I mean? Like it's just like shit like that you're gonna have to do. It's gonna be crazy.
you lost me on T Higgins and COVID, but sure.
No, I'm just saying like players like that, like you're gonna have to do
You're
deep,
gonna have to have a deep bench.
digging
Oh yeah.
on players like that.
Dig in
hit
on Higgins.
week to week. You know what I mean? Like weekly, you're gonna have to have a
Sure.
player that's gonna have a player like that. Isn't that a
Yes,
star?
America.
Well, now I think Jose was the one who expressed this opinion with what Jake just said, especially with like luck being a factor. Now, do you think this makes it harder, or is it just like blind luck?
I
Like
mean-
you're just playing roulette.
You have no control over whether or not these guys catch COVID.
Right, but
So-
you have control over the rest of that week and who you're going to pick up.
Well,
That's
what-
what I mean. The homework. It's going to be a lot less luck and more
I think it's
who's
more
doing
luck.
their homework and all that type of shit.
I think it's more luck.
Yeah, I don't know.
Cause like, all right, so Tuesday pass, waiver wire pass, right? You spend all this money on waivers to prep your week appropriately, and then your guys get COVID.
Yeah, but then it comes down to that next batch of players. Like, all right, so I need the third wide receiver in the such and such game.
Right,
You got
but
to
that-
you got to have your homework done on them.
Yeah,
type of
but
players.
it realistically happens.
You're throwing
like,
a dart
It,
at the wall.
depends. Yeah, it depends upon what part of the week it happens.
No, really. I
too.
mean, you're looking. You got to start.
What do
looking at
you know about
matchups.
T Higgins?
It's not knowing anything
He was
about
on my
T
team
Higgins.
last week.
I'm saying it's about looking at matchups. You got to start diving into shit like that.
But you-
Shit that you look into, like snap counts.
You know, I mean, I feel like all of us always
Yeah,
do
but
that.
not only can you
You know what
like
I mean?
lose a guy off of.
Yeah, but we don't do it. You only do it to a certain. I only do it to a certain extent. I'm not doing it for the third receiver on a certain team because I need a receiver that week. And where's that matchup? Who can I pick up at that time?
I just feel like the COVID shit just adds more luck because like you literally, it's another part of the game that you can't control.
Yeah, like all of the Pittsburgh players, none of them had COVID.
Yeah.
All of them suffered this week.
Well, I'll be honest with you.
None of them got to play.
It'll be a good. We'll throw a poll out after the show. And
Yeah.
We'll see how the league feels on that. If they if they agree with Joe or they agree with me. Do you think it's going to be a lot more luck this year, or do you think it's going to be a lot more who has the more skill and able to find them matchups, them deep matchups? All right, so that pretty much wraps up our league news. I believe we have some questions this week.
Oh, we do have some questions. That is correct. We will kick it off. So one actually, I think, was already messaged to Matt ahead of time, but also wants to be brought up in the show, so we'll bring it up.
Is this from our guy that's supposed to be our guest?
Yeah, anonymous, he said, but you know,
Oh, we do anonymous.
Okay.
yeah, it could or may not rhyme with mom. And the question is, so Matt, how do you feel being 3-1 heading into week 5, and then now being a 3-point dog to a 1-3 team, who, may I mention, is coming off a 155-point beatdown Charlie last week?
Matt, I'll let you take this.
It's not biased. it's
Matt,
like-
this one's for
yeah.
you.
Who said
Yeah.
that?
I don't know.
Wait, hold on. There's more. Sorry. He also wanted to just throw in a reminder that you barely broke 100 points and lost an RB1 for about 4 weeks minimum.
I didn't break 100 points.
He said you didn't.
Oh, I didn't break. I
No,
thought
he
you said
definitely
barely.
says you barely broke 100 points. That we'll fact check the
So,
questions later. Yeah.
Well, he's dumb.
Sent to
And
Donald Trump.
yeah, if Tom loses to me this week, he's in trouble.
Anonymous.
Yeah. It doesn't matter who
If
asked the
Anonymous
question.
loses
If
this
Tom
week-
if Tom loses this
Rhymes with
week to
mom.
me, he's in trouble because I'm down my first 2 picks.
And that puts him in
Like-
major trouble.
So how do you feel about the loss last week? I think is what he's getting
Oh,
at.
how do I feel about the
Yeah,
loss?
you
It
still feel
sucked.
good?
It sucked, but I mean, even if I would have had Chubb realistically, I still would have lost. I would have scored probably 100 and, maybe 110 if I was lucky, and he had a really good weekend. That would have equaled him getting like, a crap ton more points. No way, I wasn't even gonna hit that. I would have lost regardless. I don't have any issues with that. It's just the losing Chubb is worse. But
How do you think you and we'll get to this later, so I won't even ask that now. But I'll jump into the next one. So, speaking of another anonymous owner sending in some questions, wants to actually know about potentially the team that we think sent that last question. I said Average Joe's had 3 number 1 performers So Dak was number 1 at quarterback, Kittle was number 1 at tight end, and Amari was number 1 at receiver. Apparently, I did not check this coming in, going off the owner. But do you think that they are now?
Amari was not number 1. Odell was number 1.
Okay. Hey, don't shoot the messenger. I'm just reading what they sent me. Do you think that they are legit and will continue to put up these points, or do you think that was more of like a fluke? We touched on it a bit earlier.
Yeah, I would say
But
yes. Tom unfortunately put himself in a hole at 1-3. He has scored a shit ton of points. He's had a shit ton of points scored against him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's going to make a little bit of noise. Obviously, he still has a shot at the playoff. He only 1 game back at the 3rd spot. So yeah, I think out of the 3 teams that are 1-3 right now, I think he has obviously the best chance to make noise, and I think them players are going to be the ones that carry him.
I mean, yeah, all of them are necessities.
maybe they meant George Kittle was the number 1 receiver and Amari was the number 1 tight end, because that would check out
That might
if they switched.
Yeah.
Either way, it's a good question.
Kittle did have a really good game.
No, I'm sorry. Yeah, what did Amari have last week?
A lot.
27.4. Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah,
He
It's for like
was
60
probably
points
the number
combined.
2 last week. He's the number 1 of the year right now.
Yeah.
You know?
They fun. Kittle in full point put up like 41 points or something.
That's nuts.
Had him in Yahoo. It was
That's
insane.
nuts.
I was down like 4 points with bad defense, and I had Kittle, and I won by like 30. It's unbelievable.
The only thing, I mean, it's nice to get the high of the week and all that, but sometimes when you have all that come together at once, that kind of it's not the best. You know what I
Gives
mean?
you a
Next
big
Like,
head.
couple of weeks,
Gives you a
you're
big
gonna-
head.
You wish you spread it out.
So the way I start looking at it is everything always evens out. Like no matter how hot these players start, like Russ for example. I mean, there's years where Patrick Mahomes throws 50 touchdowns, but Russ will get up there, but he's not going to throw 64. You know what I mean? Like he's going to tail off a little bit. Once it starts getting colder, people start running the ball more. Defenses get tighter. Like shit like that. Once we get into the later weeks of the season, everything's going to start tightening up more. You're not going to. These crazy numbers aren't going to be.
Dak's
there
not
as
going to
much.
throw for 500 yards
Every
day.
week. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like he's going to have a week where he's pedestrian. He's going to have a few weeks where he's pedestrian.
Yeah.
And
You wish you would have had the Kittle 40-point game then.
you know what I
versus-
mean? Instead
yeah.
of putting up that 154 where you won by 60 points. Like it's cool to
Yeah.
win by 60 points, but I'd rather win that game by 2
True,
points
'cause
and then
whether-
save. You know, like not that you can save. The
Honestly, the only
performance,
thing
but-
that happens there is you get the extra money for winning the week, but
and you get the points. You get your points.
well, you're saying if they're going to have those blow-up games, you're going to get the points regardless.
Right.
Because if it happens in week 4 versus all happening in week 3, like it doesn't matter. You're still getting those points.
Yes. So, but he did do that with I think either one of his running backs. I got to check.
They were
Taylor,
pedestrian,
Ingram
right?
had like
Ingram
less
had
than
touchdown.
11.
Yeah, 10.4,
and,
8.7, I think, for Taylor.
Josh
Yeah.
Taylor had
So you
like
had the
less
big
than
day
9.
from 4.
8.7, I think.
You know what I mean? Like
Mine-
you
I think
wish.
mine's around 12.
So perfect example there. You wish Fuller saved that game for another week.
Yeah, he's
You
been
wish you
pretty-
can get that 20 another
He's
time.
been
for-
really good.
Right, but we all know what's going to happen with Fuller. It happens every year. You
Gets
you
hurt.
wish you could get that game
Gets
at
hurt
another
or
time
score 0.
compared to the 154 week that you put up. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I mean, but yes, to answer the question, yes, I think Tom's going to be. I think Tom's going to make some noise. He'll be relevant the rest of the
Yeah.
year. And I think, like I said, out of the 1-3 teams in the division, he's the one that's going to have a shot.
All right. Next question was around COVID. We actually are going to have a poll coming up. Sorry for answering your question early, but we answered it nonetheless. So this third one's really interesting. I thought about this a little bit earlier in the week. I think I mentioned it to either maybe Mike or Matt. But how do we wish that now that we played a couple weeks of the season that we had an extra IR or an extra bench spot this year? I know a lot of leagues on even like the big time like Matthew Berry ESPN leagues were going to 2 or 3 IR spots, and I know we didn't want to make it that easy just to throw someone on your bench and more movement, but it seems like an extra IR spot. I'm in a Yahoo league with 2 IR spots. It doesn't make that much of a difference, but it does as far as like movement wise. There's still a lot of transactions, but it could make a huge difference for your team. Do you wish we had an extra IR or extra bench spot?
No.
No?
I think it's just.
I was reluctant to do the one.
I think it. I think
Go
it
with
just.
one thing,
If there's one problem in a league, and it's not our problem, it's just there's not enough running backs, and then people hoard running backs, so it would drain the talent pool even more of free agents. That's always my problem for the past couple of years. I say that every year. Like we already have a small enough talent pool as it is. I'm always every year I throw out add or subtract the roster spot, but every year I vote on subtracting the roster spot because I think
Do you
there should be
think
more talent.
the IR is something we're going to continue to keep moving forward?
I think people like it. Again, that's.
I think
I'm
people
going to vote
like
against
I'm
it.
gonna vote against it.
Yeah, I'm going to vote against it. I don't. Again, I think you are depleting the talent pool too much. This year was different. I agree. This year we needed it. it would be fucked up because maybe you have 2 stars. You know what I mean? Like, and it would make things hard to roster, to have like a nice roster. But going forward, yeah, I don't think. I think it takes away too much talent from a depleted talent pool already.
Huh?
Free agency.
I don't know. I feel differently on the IR. I like it just because I don't think it takes away.
I wouldn't be as mad if there was a specific spot that was for only COVID guys, but you can't do that.
I don't understand. I mean, I don't think it takes away talent from like being injured, right? Because
No, I think
but
it takes away from talent being out there for people.
It makes it easier for a guy like me. Like, I lost Nick Chubb. I don't have to worry about losing a bench spot for Nick Chubb this year because we have this year.
And then you can roster another
Yeah,
running
I
back,
can roster another
which is
running
taking
back.
away more talent away from free
Everybody
agency.
else. Yeah. So, like, I don't like it because of the reason that I'm currently doing it. I'm going to utilize it this way because
I
that's
think that
how it is.
I don't know. And it could just be because I personally would love to have like even deeper players involved. I like the fact that it forces you to know even more, have even more knowledge of, like you were mentioning earlier, like deeper players of teams.
knowing every
because-
team's like wide receiver 3.
Yeah, like knowing who I can't pronounce the dude's name, but that 4th receiver from Atlanta was like
Yeah.
Ozeke or whatever the dude's name is.
Yep.
Knowing like what people are working with as far as like I don't know backup running backs or how they're going to incorporate them in their offense. So
Yeah, I just think it opens it up for people, like I said, hoarding running backs, where you can just roster them, and it's kind of like what Mike's doing right now. Mike can have 2 running backs that he just spent $52 on that might never play a game in our league.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, maybe he moves them, but
I mean he has no one on his IR though, right?
But
He doesn't have
I
anyone
mean-
in IR, so he would have been able to do that regardless of the IR. That's what I'm saying.
right, but which is getting into my point. It's already taken. We already have enough talent off the board. That, you know what I mean? How many people need RB2s? How many times a week do people say I need an RB2?
Couldn't anyone else have just put
That
down
takes
20
away-
Someone else could just put $27.
What?
Someone else could just put $27. It's not like he's like losing. I don't know. You can play.
That's a future him problem.
Right. You can, if you wanted the running back, you could get the running back. I mean, you couldn't because you didn't have enough money. But
All I'm saying is, my point is, it just to me, it takes away, it depletes the talent pool.
Yeah, but it was a spiteful move. 100%.
I don't know. I think it just. We're gonna see it on different ends of the spectrum
Yeah, right.
because I like the fact that there's more players and involved. And like never would. I don't know who was. There's a few people that are rostered that you're like, well, these dudes would never be rostered.
Yeah. No, I think, like I said, you know my stance.
Yeah.
But I keep saying
That's another reason too. Like when we were talking about adding an extra receiver spot, I'd be all over that.
producers telling us to.
What? Relax.
Move on.
We
What are you getting tired there? Not holding the camera? Just
I
staring
know
at
the
tripod?
audience is going to
We
sleep.
got a fucking ad break coming up. Good.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. All right, one more question. People freak out. No one's watching this show.
No. It's not about the length. It's about Jake doesn't agree with it. You do, and we're just running in circles with that.
Cut that out.
Yeah, right. Don't you?
We'll cut
don't
this
we pay
out.
you
This
to make
we'll cut
edits?
this out.
We make 2 hours worth.
Read
of
the
content.
goddamn
Shut the
question.
fuck up over there behind the
2
camera.
hours
This
worth
is
of
fucking
content.
absurd. Oh my god, this is
bullshit.
this is
we're
going to
fucking answering
fucking.
questions
This is
from
going
people
to
over here.
shitter.
We make 2 hours worth of content. You cut it to an hour.
Try being on this side of red
Yeah,
light.
do your
all right?
goddamn job.
Shut the
Christ.
fuck up. That's your job. You shut the fuck up. You press
Oh
a
my
button.
god, this
I-
whole episode's cut.
You press a fucking button, then when you go home, you press a
How
couple
do
more
I
buttons.
edit
That's
somebody
it. That's
out?
your job.
How
Shut
do
the fuck
how
up.
do I edit somebody out?
Next question.
Barely get some goddamn time.
Next question.
I don't even know what his question was. Final projections to the season. Do we think it's too early to start? Yeah, it's too early to talk about final projections. All right, we're moving on to the
Nah,
question.
absolutely not. I want to talk about final projections
Oh.
every week.
Loggerheads today.
Because a producer told us.
No. Answer the question.
What do you?
It's way too early. It's way
Yeah.
too early to project final projections. Because
Put our drop in for our weekly predictions. Go. Week 5 predictions. All right, here we go.
All right, we're gonna start. I guess the game of the week. Can we call it game of the week? I guess not. I don't have the roster for a game of the week.
I would say it is, right?
Nah, average shows against the Wisconsin Raskins.
That's not game of the week.
I don't really see anything else. The Mafia against the Alexander Trades. Hooligan, shirts off, pants down. C Block's biggest loser. Be like, all right.
What about the beef that Alex and Tommy been throwing back and
All right,
forth?
here. You know what?
I vote for that one.
There we go. All right. We'll call that the game of the week. All right. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start with the Globo Gym Purple Cobras going up against the undefeated Atlantic Sanitation Department. Joe, who you got this week?
I genuinely thought that our representative from America was going to win this week, but after that whole debacle we just went through,
Oh my god.
Like,
I still say
Yeah,
Mike's
still
probably
pretty
still gonna beat you, but
Just for the record, right now the sanitation department is a 20
not
point
too bad,
favorite,
right? Yeah, a couple touchdowns.
20.3.
Yeah, a couple touchdowns. You got it.
which we will get from unlikely sources this week. You can guarantee that Jimmy Graham probably 2 touchdowns. Dude Higgins probably 2 touchdowns, and of course McKissick probably 8 catches
There was rumors that Mark Andrews was going to catch 7 from Lamar
this week.
Yeah, this week.
That'd be perfect. Matt, your pick this week?
Mike.
All right. Is anyone calling this their lock this week?
Uh,
No,
you're
I'm not. No, because if the COVID nonsense happens,
I
then
love the respect, man.
It
Thank you
it
very much.
100% will shift Mike's
Yeah,
Mike's team
the
up a
COVID
bit.
could,
I
I
mean,
think we
he would
all
still be
know
the favorite, but
where
I
I'm
would say
going
it's
this
a
week.
lock.
The Purple Boys.
The Purple Boys.
Lock of the week.
That's
The Boys in Purple.
The locks get more detailed every week.
America.
Easy W.
Your
Stop
team-
it. You're insane.
Moving on to our game of the week. The Polska Mafia going up against Alexander's Greats. Commish, what do you like this week? I don't got a line. Let me get a line
3.
here for you.
Or 2.5.
2.5. Polska Mafia actually favored
2.5.
right now by 2.5. Big game. You got Polska Mafia 2-2. Alexander's Greats coming off their first win of the season at 1-3. Win
Yeah,
here,
get-
put Alex right into it.
Give me man, I really wish it would be nice to be even with Tommy and Brock, but I think Tommy's gonna pull it out. Alex doesn't have Devontae Adams, and he might not have a full strength Raheem Mostert. Mixon has Baltimore, and Mahomes might just have the COVID. Who knows? Like
So it could be a rough week for the Greats.
maybe.
Matt?
Yeah, I'm going to take Tommy as well. Also, to add on to that, Zeke is going against the Giants, and they're going to be up. He's going to hand the ball 100 times.
Yeah, that could happen.
Just looking at the rosters, I'm going to go with Tommy, but to piggyback again on what Joe said, yeah, Mahomes against the Raiders. Like I said, we heard a little COVID thing going on there, so that could be in jeopardy. Mixon probably falls back to life, and I really don't like, as good as Year Anderson's having, I really don't like him too much this year.
He is going against
They're
Atlanta.
going against Atlanta, though, so.
So it could be a good start. Then you got Gage.
Yeah.
Need to make
What is Anderson this year?
All right, I'm gonna go with Tommy.
Wide receiver 12.
He's had
Robbie
a
Anderson.
very good year.
Yeah, that's what I said. I know he's having a good year. America?
Wow.
Get the brooms.
Boom.
Lock of the week.
Boom. That's your lock?
Lock of the week.
Wow.
Whoa.
All right. That's,
Whoa.
that's a shot.
Whoa.
Shirts off, pants down, going up against Jose Hooligans. Right now, it looks like Shirts off, pants down is actually about a 3-point favorite.
Yeah, he's projected.
Yeah, Jose has
Oh,
Noah
he's-
Fant.
all right, so
still
we'll
in
add
the
in
lineup.
7. So we'll say going by the end of the week, we'll say Jose is about a 2-point favorite. We'll call it. Kamish?
I feel like Brian's making the right QB start, which means it's going to be the wrong QB start.
That's the way it's been going so far.
He is not. He can't catch a break,
No.
man. I don't think he's watching our videos either. It's kind of
Brian
fucked up. No.
Yeah.
I don't even know he knows they exist.
No, probably not.
I don't think he knows the league.
By the
exists.
way, basketball tournament. The under 6-foot basketball tournament is canceled right now.
Yeah, can we stop?
Postponed.
Not
We
to get
can't
on
do
not to get
that.
on a tangent, but how the hell is that a thing?
I don't know. Just
The
please
under
pick.
6 basketball
Please
tournament?
pick someone.
Jose.
It's not your turn.
I'm
Squish.
sorry.
Uh,
He said somebody. I didn't know he was telling him somebody.
Give me Brian.
Ooh.
Give me is that an upset? That's an upset, right? An upset of the week.
Technically, but it's only 2.5 points.
It's all right.
Jose. You didn't hear me the first time?
That wasn't bad. That's because it wasn't your turn. I'm gonna go with Brian in this one.
You're not invited to this league, Matt. You're over 6 foot.
America.
Yeah.
I'm also going to go with Brian.
Brian.
Stop,
all
bro.
right.
Yeah, but it's the under 6 foot league, so you can't play either.
Don't forget to tell
That's
me
what I asked him.
your
I asked him
locks.
if can I play
You
if
guys
I
have to tell your lock. C Block's biggest losers going up against B Block's finest. This is a big game in the East right now.
huge game.
I said something earlier about this. You know, one of 3 teams is their season over. 1-4. I think you can put the nail in the coffin. Huge game for Steve this week. Right now, it looks like this is a tight one. It's under a point, so we'll call it a pickle. Commish.
Give me. I want to say Steve off matchups, but I gotta stick with my power rankings, so I'm gonna go Charlie.
You gonna go Charlie in this one?
I am also going to go Charlie. But I like Charlie's matchups.
I do. I
like Steve's less.
Actually, yeah. Looking at it now, you're probably. I only looked at the quarterback and Cook, but as I go down, they get worse.
You got to pay attention to Michael Thomas too. But
Yeah, I'm gonna say Michael Thomas doesn't play this week, so I think Steve actually saves his season. I think Cook continues to do his thing.
Don't think DJ Moore against Atlanta. He doesn't even have him in his lineup right now.
yeah,
It's crazy.
DJ Moore's is 4. It's not.
DJ Moore's against
It's
Atlanta.
good wide receiver. Yeah, I think Steve's gonna win this week just to save the season, but save the season. America.
Char by 10.
You've taken him every week, haven't you?
Steve is someone. I don't know. Can Charlie play in that basketball league? Is he 6 foot?
Charlie's your height.
Okay, so maybe, depending on the sneakers he's wearing.
You guys still got your locks.
Steve, without a doubt, is in.
So we got the Brock football team
Might be the center.
going up against both sides of the bun right now.
Lock of the week. Me.
Lock of the week.
Your choice, Matt.
Without a tight end, we'll give him 7. It looks like right now this is about a 15-point line. Commish, you're going lock of the week?
Lock of the week. Lock
Yeah,
it up.
I'm also taking Joe lock of the week.
Lock of the week, really? I can't do lock of the week, but I will take Joey. Mark.
Brock's a wounded animal. Give us Joe.
So we got 2 games we completely agree on. Alright, our last game. Average Joe's coming off the win, going up against the hurting Wissinoming Rats. Commissioner, you like this week? Right now we have about a 3-point line.
Yeah. Give me. Oh man, they really do play the Giants. Give me Tom. I like going to my power rankings here, but I think Tom's has really good matchups, and Matt's missing Aaron Jones.
And Nick Chubb.
Well, yeah.
I am going to go with myself simply because I think that Dallas is going to be up, and McCarthy needs a win. So he's just going to you know what? I'm going to burn the clock. I'm going to get out of this game.
Pound Zeke.
And pound the ball.
In however many years he's been a coach, I've never seen him
burn
do
the
that.
clock.
So that will not happen this week, man. I can assure you they're not going to do that.
They need a win.
I can assure
They
you.
need a win.
They'll be up 30, and he's going to be like, third ball. Third fucking ball.
I think so.
So I'm going with Tom. I think this division gets even tighter this week. I think maybe you want to take over first place. America?
Joe's is heating up.
Joe's is heating up. That was the question in a fucking week. I wish he was on that. That would have been nice.
Actually, wait a minute. Can I change that to my lock?
No.
Okay.
No, you can. Sure.
I already put the lock. I'm not crossing out my locks.
Well, we'll just edit this out and act it. You know.
You want to double down on your locks?
Double down? Well, actually, no. I was just thinking.
Well, you lose double points.
No. Yeah. Is that what we're gonna do?
Well, if that
5 weeks.
if that
Are we not making
if
this up
that
as we go
if that
along?
Titans Bills game gets
Points.
canceled, Tommy's getting ranked.
All right. So week 5 coming up. Anything else?
We need to start saying this, and so Steve can watch all the way to the end. Games are at your house this week.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. We're gonna do my house this week.
1 p.m. games we are attending.
Yes.
I know there was a lot of confusion last week.
Sorry, Steve.
Yeah.
Yes. Games at my house. Coming over whenever. And go Birds, right?
Yeah.
That's all we got. All right. Holla.